Islam.
Islam.
All right. Giving all honor, giving all praises to Allah. For those honors to Noble Drew Ali. Also give extension honors to Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Also extend that to the Moorish American flags, red flag with the green five-pointed star, representing love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I also give high honor to the L's and Bays. For if it wasn't for you guys, we would not be here for this minute. Okay? Islam. All right. So, been kind of teetering back and forth on what to talk about. It's one of those things where, people like to turn around and ask you, 5 to 10 minutes prior to meeting, hey, you got something for me? Sure, no worries, I can see what I can come up with.
That's right.
And, if anybody knows how I do, I sometimes just do like this, and I go in my book and I point. So I'm going to start with the questionnaires. And it kind of coincides with a lot of the stuff Sister Saturday was talking about, emptying cup and everything else, but it's going to go a little bit further into who we are. And so I'm going to start with, I actually had it on my phone already. Key 38. What is an angel? Anybody? We can just answer that if we already know it.
An angel is the Father of all.
All right. So, was in modern day, I'm going to skip to 61. What is the modern name for those angels?
Asiatics.
And who are we?
Asiatics.
And that means we are what?
Angels.
We are very much angels. So, with that being said, when we talk about like Jesus, Messiah, there's something that I've noticed that everybody has to go through. We've been going through this whole stage of being Negroes,
That's right.
colored folks, black folks, Ethiopians, all other kind of names that we don't need to say here, but we know what those names are. So here's the thing that we always have to think about, that struggle. And I think about the struggle that everybody has to go through. Jesus went through the struggle when he was on the verge of being crucified. We can even go back to Job. We know Job had a big struggle, didn't he? We can even go back to Jacob. We can go back to Israel, before he became Israel. We can go back to Abraham. Everybody had a struggle. It's a mental struggle. It's something mentally that's inside of us that we have to try around and defeat. And what is that struggle? Self. Self of old self, not self of, to become new. It's the death of self. That's that struggle, that fear. So it's like we call, we can say lower and higher self, but I kind of just look at cells are still whole. It still comes out of one body. It still has to be an acceptance of that. So I was reading, for some strange reason, I keep notes on my phone. I don't know why. It kind of happens. It works itself out. What are angels, key 39, probably just go back and forth with some of the keys. Key 39, what are angels used for? To carry the messages of the four corners of the world to all nations. Here's a problem that I'm having. What is our nation? Ours, Asiatics. We don't have a nation right now. We have Moorish Americans, but it's like we are still grasping for somewhere to belong. And we're trying to grasp everybody else on the outside to belong all together under one unified setting. So how do we plan on doing this? Noble Drew Ali brought the word. So did Jesus, so did Confucius, so did Buddha, so did Abraham. I mean, most of this actually extended from Abraham. Let's just think about who we all kind of came from. So how are we today going to take these words and bring it upon our people in order for them to understand where they're at, that they are Asiatics, not Negro, black, colored folks, none of that stuff. They are Asiatics, they are angels. They are here to bring a message to the rest of the world. We've been taught that we are the ones who created education. We've been the ones who created cultivating. We've been the ones to create all these things. And for some strange reason, we have forgotten that. How did we do that? Where did that end? Where did that fall from? And it's kind of funny because it's like we never actually lost it.
That's right.
It's still here.
It's not.
It's something that just needs to be tapped into.
It's not.
The struggle inside our heads.
It's not.
The struggle of that fear that for some strange reason we believe is there that really doesn't exist. You know, and it's funny because I turned around and I quoted something, it just popped in my head. I was like, the biggest trick that the devil played was to tell us who he really was, and we didn't still believe him.
Right.
It's like he told us who he was. He said exactly who he was. And what did the devil say he was? He said he was God.
It's not.
But we didn't believe it, did we? We turned around and was playing around with it and was like, oh yeah, whatever. No, you're just joking. No, he was right. Because in our heads, the battle between what? God, Satan, all the little stuff of confusion is planted in your head. Now you have to differentiate the difference between the two.
That's right.
The higher and lower selves. So, what was it? Too big. So I'm going to read more Holy Quran. I want to say that's chapter 15, verse 6 and 9. And then the tempter came and said, if you be son of Allah, command these stones to turn to bread. And Jesus said, who is it that demands a test?
That's right.
It is no sign that one is son of Allah because he does a miracle and devils can do mighty things. Do not the Gentile magicians do great things before the Pharaoh?
That's right.
My words and deeds in all the walks of life shall be proof of my messiahship. Messiahship in Arabic is al-Masih, the anointed, the traveler, or the one who cures by caressing. The very important definitions of what a Messiah is, which kind of covers of what angels are, kind of also covers of who we are. And if you guys even notice, even in our darkest time, we caress everything. We turn, just think about all the things that we do. We turn around, we feel bad for somebody else who can care less about us, but we care about what happens to them.
That's right.
Like, who does that? Because that's in our nature as Asiatics. That's in our nature because we are angels. And that's the thing that we have to remember, that it's already there. You just have to recognize it. It's like, if we stop for a second and stop worrying about the negativity part of the whole situation and realize the pure part of who we are, it will come out so naturally that your eyes will just be open and you'll see the grace of everything in front of you. So pretty much that's what I'm going to go with. I was going to make it very quick, but it's just start searching and start meditating, go within yourself and start figuring out how you can turn around and open yourself up to that angel that's inside of you. Understand that don't be afraid of it.
That's right.
Because once you understand that it's not fear, there's no fear in you, you won't have a problem going out there talking to everybody and telling them who they really are. Let them understand that they are angels and they are the ones who can carry the rest of the nation, and let them know they do belong somewhere that is pretty much has ultimate power. Right? So I leave you as I can.